So for this, you're going to need some scissors, a button maker, some fabric, measuring tape, zipper, a ruler, and some pins. You're going to take your favorite pair of jeans, take some fabric chalk, and just trace an outline for the jeans. So now you flip it on the other side and you do the same thing. Trace that again. So if you're using a pattern, try and align it so that the angles of both crotches meet, so that the patterns will align when you cut it and sew it together. After you trace it out, then you're going to go on ahead and cut. Now you should have your 4 pieces of fabric, 2 for the front and 2 for the back. So you're going to align both of them right side on right side, and you're going to sew them together right at this seam right here. So same thing for here. You're going to put right side on right side, and on the wrong side you're going to sew it together. After you sew both the back and the front together, what you're going to do is you're going to put both right sides of the fabric together, and then pin the crotch area right here so that the seams align. And then right after you get the seams to align, you're then going to pin down each leg, making sure you align them as you go. So as such, this is the back leg and this is the front leg. So you're going to pin down all the way down till you get to the bottom of each leg. Once you finish sewing the crotch down each inner leg together, then you want to sew the outsides of the front and the back together as well. But on one of the sides, whichever side you prefer, you want to leave an opening, and that's where you're going to put the zipper.
For this project, I wanted to add pockets, so I cut out 2 9-inch squares and folded them as well as ironed it to the desired shape that I wanted.
So after you iron it, you'll have 2 pockets to go on the back of the pants. So here's the pocket after sewing. I don't know if you see it, but I sewed some detail, like a little bit detail seams to it, just to make it a little bit more realistic, like you actually bought it in the store. So I pinned down the pockets. I tried to put them in a way that they didn't align, but the pattern is just so bold that they still, it doesn't really pop out, but it's there. You can see it's there. I do suggest that you put the pockets on before you seam the side, the front, and the back together, because I know I'm going to have a heck of a hard time trying to sew this on. But you want to measure to make sure you put them in the right place. You want to measure from the seam in the back and make sure that they're even where the pockets are being placed. I have it 1.5 inches from the seam, 1.5 inches here, and then from the middle to the middle of the one of the back legs. When you measure it here, it's 6 1/4. So I did the same thing here too. That's how I knew where to place them. So I pinned the 2 top corners, and now I'm gonna pin here. Because I've already sewed it, I have to be careful and just hold my finger there so that when I get there, it doesn't move, and then pin it. So you're gonna sew along the edges like so on both sides. Pin these corners too so that they don't move as well.
Now that the pockets are on, I want to measure the back of the pants to fit the back of my waist. If you check out my zipper back tutorial, you'll see how I measured the back of my waist, but in that video, I measured the back of my waist to be 12 inches. So the pants right now are 17.5 inches, but you want to take out some of that for allowance or for the zipper allowance. So I'll need to trim away about 4 inches to get it to the desired size of my waist. So I measured 8.5 inches on each side of the seam. So what I'm going to have to do is find the midpoint, which is 4 inches or to 5 inches, and that'll be the midpoint of the dart, and then extend it out an inch to the right and an inch to the left, and those will be the two sides that I know I need to bring together in order to get the 12-inch waist in the back that I need. I measured the length of the dart to be 5 inches, marked it, and then connected the mid part of the dart to the point that I made, as well as the marking that I made 1 inch to the left and 1 inch to the right, which gave me a little triangle shape that I would then sew over to get my dart. And I've gone ahead and I've sewn the 2 dots in the back. I measured the base of the top part of the jumper to be 11 inches and the length of it to be 11 inches as well. I cut out a 12-inch square of fabric and folded the sides so that the top of it was 9 inches and the base of it was 11 inches. Then I ironed it to hold the shape in place. After you're done ironing it, this is what it should look like. So we're gonna make a pocket to go on the front side of it. So for the pocket, I just cut it out to whatever. I just winged it, like really. Folded it and ironed it, made it look all nice. So now I pretty much have that and the jumper, the top part of the jumper done. It aligns perfectly, so I'm actually quite proud of myself. So now before you sew it on top of it, just put seams on it and make it look a little bit more store-bought if that's the look you're going for. That's the look I'm going for. I want it to look as professional as possible. And the same thing for the jumper too, for the top part of the jumper too. Do your little seams on it and make it look all nice and pretty. After you're done with that, find the alignments of where you want to place it, put it on there, and bam, you are ready for the next thing. So for the waistband, I'm gonna measure 30 inches in length and 2 inches in width, and I'm gonna use this pattern right here. So you have the 2 pieces for the waistband and then the 2 pieces for the straps. So for the waistband, you're gonna put the right side of both of them together and then you're gonna pin it just to hold it in place. And for the straps, you want to make sure that the right side is facing down and then fold the sides and iron it to make it flat. Make sure when you're doing this, I know I'm not doing it right now, but I will, but make sure that you're measuring it so that you know how much of it that you're, basically you know where to iron. I should take my own advice. After ironing the straps, they should look like this. So afterwards, you're going to go over it with the sewing machine on both sides. After you sew the waistband on both sides, you're just going to turn it inside out by pushing your finger through one end. When you're done, you want to iron it so that it lays flat. Now that we have all our pieces done, you want to mark the midpoint of the top part of the jumper and then align it to the crotch seam. So where we mark should align to the seam right here. So we're gonna take our waistband. So you wanna align that to the edge of the front of the pants, the waistband, to the edge of the front of the pants, and then find the midpoint of that place too. So this is where the top of the jumper should align to. Now that you have all your pieces marked, you want to pull the top part of the jumper over the waistband and pin it. You also want to do the same with the bottom part of the jumper and pin it. After you finish aligning these pieces, you then want to pin them down some more so that you can easily sew them together. After you finish sewing the waistband, this is what it should look like. So pretty much the waistband will be on the outside, and this is what the inside of it will look like. So you can see the fabric from the bottom of the pants and the fabric from the top part of the jumper. So I sewed it along the perimeter of the pants, and then I pinned the sides. For the straps, align them in the back to how you want them to lay. I laid them so that they crossed in the back, and then I pinned them down.
If you like the layout of the straps, you want to go on ahead and sew across the top of the waistband as well as the bottom. So I just want to share a mistake that I made. If you do attempt to make this dungaree, please put the waistband on before you put the zipper so that you can place the zipper a little higher up. Because I didn't do that, I had to make a button and a buttonhole, and yeah, it didn't go so well. The button came out nice, but this didn't go so well. So just do the waistband before putting the zipper on.
After trying it on, it was really evident that the dungaree was high-waisted, so I took 1.5 inches off the top part to make it look right, pinned it, and then sewed across. While the jumper was on, I figured out how long I wanted the straps to be, folded them over, and then pinned them to make it easy to sew across. To make the buttons, I bought a button maker from Walmart. It came with the button maker, the shell, the back, and the pusher. The first thing you want to do is to cut out a circle twice the diameter of the shell.
Then you want to put it on top of the button maker. Then you want to take the shell, take this pusher and push it down into it. So after you push it down into it, you're then gonna tuck the excess fabric into the center. Hopefully you guys can see this. But you're gonna tuck it into the center. And then you're going to take this right here, which is the back, put it over it, and then use the pusher to push it into place. And then voila, you have a button. So I'm going to make the loops, and what I did was with the extra fabric from the straps, I just cut it, cut where we had sewn the straps down, or the loose end on the straps down. And then afterwards what I'm gonna do is just fold it again like this and then sew that down to make it skinny. So I'm gonna use the two sides that I had, and that will be the loops that I'll use to fasten the buttons on the straps. So I placed the buttons that we made on the top part of the jumper, and I made loops. I made loops right there that would fasten onto the buttons instead of making the buttonholes. And how we go. So that's what it looked like. So it's just sewed over, folded over and sewn. And then I sewed it to the ends of the straps. So in the back it crisscrosses. So I just loop it in here and loop it there. Okay, so after I finished doing that, I went on ahead and I sewed the hemline. No one really see it, so if it's uneven, I'm not really bothered. But the jumpsuit is complete. If you like this tutorial, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos from us, please don't forget to subscribe. Bye, and until we meet again, have a wonderful week, everyone.
So here it is, guys, finished product. Can y'all give it up for my model right here? She is doing her thing. Yes, girl. Work it. Show them pockets. Yep. Let's go on ahead and put that phone in there. Yes. Functioning pockets. I did it. But I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial, and just pay me no mind. I'm just acting a fool right now. Bye, everyone. Get it, girl.